Mirembe, Mirembe Kandi. Feel welcomed again to our Lulogooli class sessions. And today we are going to do a presentation on how possible we can amass or put together all Lulogooli words. It is a little bit of a challenging or rather wide exercise, but there are ways we can simplify it and at the end of the day, achieve the results. Before the presentation, we should understand that, or we should be aware that the words we are going to write, or rather produce, are something that we are in agreement with the orthography. It also assumes that we are going to prioritize structure over random speech or palatability. So as we going to present, those are some of the few things and others which may not be part of the process at the beginning, but maybe in the middle and at the end, they may be very important or should be considered. Here, yes, we are going to look at a way of bringing this data together, and MS Access is one of the best ways because it can help you compute the data depending on how you want it. There are others like MS Word is too simple. MS Excel is mainly a flat layout, but MS Access is a little bit advanced. Not to say that there are no better computer programs, but this is the simplest we can have for now. And then perhaps during expansion or the need to make it more appealing, we can now approach and get in touch with some of the best programs. What do we do, or how do we start? We start by collecting data or inserting data. And in Access, we use a table here. What happens is that in that table, we do input data, but you also have to arrange it the way you need it. For instance, in here, or rather the first left field, I set it in a certain way that it is a primary key. To mean I cannot insert any word twice. So it is a quick way of me checking whether I've inserted the word already or not. And where do these words come from? One, these words do come from the books I have on Lulogooli. Some of them are already written in dictionary format. The words come also from the people I meet and we talk. So I realize that there is a word that I'm learning and I need to input. And other words come from a little bit of research, like what is this kind of thing called in Lulogooli. So the rest of the table is all about what happens to the word, or how do I need the word. For instance, in this second one, I'm only interested in the root part of the word. I do not need the whole word, because going forward in Lulogooli, I will only be needing the root word. And it is not only the root word, but what kind of the root word. This one, I search for it in column 3. The root word, is it a verb root word? Is it a noun root word? Is it an adjective root word? And henceforth. So here I've called it keka, like what kind of word do I need? So the rest of them is about explaining if it is a verb, it'll be kikorwa here. If it is a noun, it will have a noun class here and the explanation of the noun there. And for the rest of the parts of speech, it ends at kihugi, where I'm highlighting now. Then, what about the rest of the table? The rest of the table is in recognition that for every Lulogooli word, there are prefixes and affixes. So I have to include them at the table so that during my computing of the words, I will only be picking what I need from the rest. And as you can see, as we go ahead, all these are what I would call affixes and prefixes. All of them. They number about 160 now. All of them, from the left to the right, all of them. So that they are default in the sense that whatever kind of a word I'll be taking on my left, I only need to apply, or rather kind of combine with whatever kind of affix I'll be needing. So that is how basically Lulogooli is going to work for me in this table. So far, so good. So what next when you have a table, for instance? So what remains now is going to the second stage where I'm going to be computing, or rather taking only what I need, kind of saving from the table to produce the words I need. So that at the end of the day, after the word production, I'll sit down and organize, like what words come before what. Or rather, what is the order of a word? If I have a word and I find that it has several kind of entries, in what order? And at the end of the day, in what manner can the word also be searched so that any other Lulogooli interested person, maybe having these in a computer format or an application format, can easily get the word they need from us. So I will now go to the second stage of it all, and it is called the queries. On my left hand side, I'll click and you will see the queries. The queries can be as many as, because Lulogooli produces words, or rather has a way of using only one root word to produce several words on the same, I mean. And it goes on because we have the prefixes that can combine either one or two or three. And then we also have the suffixes, which also are as many as 50. And you also need to consider the tense, the R, A, and E. That is present, future, and past. So as I scroll, you'll see that there are several tables so far, and these tables are meant to increase triple-fold because I'm still computing the words I need. For instance, if we were to take any of the table, that one, and opened it, you'll find that in this table, I have organized these words in the sense that there is the root this is the word which I entered at first at the table, which can also be shown at the table kind of design view. There is the word I entered at first, and then there is what I'm working with in the table for it to produce for me these words that I need. And it is in this production of words that I get that very word I need. And in this table, for example, I am considering the noun combination with a verb in a past, future, and present tense. I had a word, for instance, ageka, which is highlighted here, ageka. In the present tense, singular, me that is, the word is highlighted here as nragika, nragika. The second one, which is now the plural of it, kuragika, kuragika. Such kind. And this one is just for this table and only for the prefix, as seen at the table, ra, a. That is the future continuing. Kura ageka, the future. Kurazia. So anything in the future with ra, a kind of a structure should be found in this table. If we are to search for a word, for instance, kurazia. Kurazia. It should bring for us, there is the word, kurazia. And if we are to go back and search for kuradeka, there it is. It has brought for us kuradek, kuradek. That way. So it is simply about organizing words in the structure of what you need in that table. The tables are many because this was just for kuradeka, kuradeka. And we have also, for instance, another structure of a noun class, ra plus root plus a. Kurare, kuragike, nragiki. That way. So far, so that I do not bombard the listener with what's happening here, the simple thing is to understand that we are dealing with specificities of a word. What kind of a word? Of what kind of a prefix and of what kind of a suffix. For a suffix case, we have them down there or down here. And if I'm just to pick one that way, this one is for noun class, as read here, noun class plus root plus w or wa plus a. So it is agikwa, agikwe, agikwi. And if we are to prefix with noun class, rather than now we are making a subject to do it, we have nagikwa, singular, kwagikwa, plural, nagikwe, that is for future, kwagikwe, plural, nagikwi, past, kwagikwi, past, plural. This kind of work, as we continue on, should be supported with audios as needed, and even pictorials where need be. This is in part of developing the whole of it so that it can serve both preliminary and maybe expert use. So how do I, or how can we simplify the whole of it? Maybe by, if somebody only wanted only words for aka. If somebody only wanted words for aka, the words are so many. They are not few. They are as many as, because the verbs in Logooli are produced, unlike the nouns, the adjectives, and others. And this is a result of inflection. So if somebody wanted only for aka and what is in there, then there need to be, or we are going to develop in future, a way of searching for the specific aka and also providing the person with specificities or other aka words. Towards that juncture, it will just be important for you to see that in one of the forms or in one of the workings, we have such a thing as this surface where you can look at a word, ageka, for instance, as highlighted, and then you can look at the prefixes as all the highlighted. And then we have a small or simple definition. Kuagika is to force your presence or release. So that if I am to search for any other word, like deka, that is cook, deka, is the same, it brings me deka, and it tells to cook. All you see here, these are possible prefixes, and all you see here, these are possible suffixes. What we've not included are the tenses, and which should be included. So that the whole of this surface here in our working will be full of whatever possible words that can come out of the verb deck. This should be followed by sound notes. This should be followed by explanations on ways possible that the word itself, or rather the structure here, may be not aligning with random speech and how the two can be harmonized. So far, that is the simple way, or rather the understanding in this, to help us, or rather to guide us in our quest to know just how many words Logooli can produce, or how best we can get the Logooli words in their enmasse without complicating or rather duplicating, but making them specific, making them follow a certain order and easily retrieved when we need them. Towards that end, I might say that it will get simple when we have a better output mechanism. What you've just seen is more of an internal, what will be happening in the background, so that for the user, it should be simple, just about meeting any Logooli word, which is the aim of this initiative. When you meet any Logooli word, it should be simple for you to insert it in there. And then when you insert it, it should be produced for you near possible words that you pick one, and not only giving you whatever meaning or whatever explanation for that, but also can assist you know how the word itself came about, or rather how the word can further be computed to bring to you or for you other words, which can now generally widen the user's general understanding of Logooli structure. And by that, it will be easier for the person to propagate Logooli, as it will be easy to write. and read. Thank you for listening and keep following Lulogooli. Kwaheri!